Hello, folks. Let's take a look today at the BYCOL new Lambda function, BYCOL. And let's use that with this formula we've already created in our last lesson on taking the min, max, average, and count and putting it all in a single line and working with it that way. But we're going to use the BYCOL lambda function in this column here. So just to go over this, if we do equals BYCOL, it's a new function, and it's asking for your array or your array. And in our case, we want it to be this C6 to F23, and I'm going to just leave it open-ended. And I think just good practice, I'm going to go ahead and lock it. So that's my BYCOL, where that's our range. And then now we're going to type our lambda, LAMB. We can pop that open. And what we're going to do is use the name the variable, and it could be anything. It could be col, it could be C. Let's use it as C. It'll be easier to work with. And then let's put a comma. You have to be careful when you do something like that C, because it wants to pop up that cosine. And then we're going to go ahead and paste in the formula that we have. So this will break here if I do this, but I'm going to come back here. Whoops, I don't really want to do that. Let me just hit enter here, and we won't have anything there. But let's come in here and let's grab this formula that we created here that has all that information for us already. So here's our lambda. It's going to be C, and we're going to paste our formula. But we have to replace the A6A with a C, and we have to replace the A6A with a C, and we have to replace the A6A with a C, and we have to replace the A6A with a C. And I think that should do that, or if it wants to do that cosine thing on this last one, so we don't want that. We want to go back just to a plain old C, and I think we might have to close that C out. And I do think we have an error there, I think, because we have to close min C. Hold on one sec. Yeah, we're going to have to close out the min C, the max C, the average C, and the count C, and I think that's given me a couple extra of those. How about that? There we go. So with one single formula, we are getting our min, max, average, and count. And we could do something like this, make it bold. We could center it. Maybe make sure we've got enough space there. And the nice thing about this formula is if I say I had another range of, let me copy this and paste another range of percentages in here, maybe make sure that those are all percentages. And then all I'd have to change here is my range to go to G, and there's my min, max, and you can see I copied and pasted that. This, to make that look the way I have the others, I would do something like that. But as you can see, it's very easy now using this formula that we created to put at the top or at the bottom. And in my case, I like to put these at the top. Use the BYCOL lambda, declare C as my column, and then take a formula that we wrote here and go ahead and take that whole formula and paste it in as part of my lambda. The second, notice on a lambda, you've got your formula expression, you've got X, and then you're naming your formula. Well, our formula is this big long thing that we had already created. So that's how to use BYCOL. I think it's going to be a really, really handy. You always have to be careful. Let's go ahead and escape out of that. And be able to use that. In our next lesson, we're going to talk about how to save this as a named function so that we could use it elsewhere as a function that we might want to use whenever we have columns of numbers. And also, one other quick thing while we're here, let's go ahead and take some currency here. Let's say this is currency, and let me just randomly generate some numbers here. So we'll do a rand between. We'll generate some numbers, 30 and 77, and we're just going to create a random set of numbers here, like this, and then we're going to go ahead and copy that and Command-Shift-V to paste to get rid of the formulas, and we'll turn all of that into currency. In fact, we'll turn the whole the rest of that column into currency. So if we added more, and then we're going to take our lambda expression here, we'll copy it, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to paste this here, and of course it's giving us some incorrect errors there, but we're going to take and just do I. So we're going to do C, or we're going to do I. I just want to show you this with the column I, and we'll go ahead and do that. So notice we had in our text statement we had told it to be percentage, and now I want it to be $0.00. And then I'll just take that, I'll copy it, and wherever I've got the percent, I'll go ahead and paste in my currency text statement on these last ones here. Go ahead and hit enter, and now when I go ahead and get rid of that formatting, and then go ahead and make that bold, and we could center it. So if you're working with something, if you're working with percentages in your lambda statement, you're going to have that text min c change it to a percent, but if I was working with currency, I would change that into a currency, and then I can see my min, max, average, and count of a column of currency. And again, this would be the same thing if I had a bigger column. In fact, we could go I6 to L, and I think what we'll get there, we'll get some div zeros because we don't have anything in there. But if I just put a little something in there on each and any one of those, you would see that it would get rid of my div zero. Or alternatively, we could wrap our statement here with an if error message, and then we wouldn't get that div zero. Great new function, the BYCOL. We've gone over the by row. Hope this is something that'll be helpful.